episode 79, and welcome in to the Bench is Clear podcast, where we cover the best rivalry in all of sports. Yeah, I am Jesse Gutierrez, and I represent the side of the first place San Francisco Giants, who went 4-2 last week.
That's funny. And I'm Tyler Cohen. I represent the Los Angeles Dodgers, who went a perfect 7-0 last week, gaining 2.5 games on the luckiest team in baseball, the San Francisco Giants. The San Fran Giants.
I might have said the wrong episode number. We're at 79. Did I say 79 or 78?
You said 79, I believe.
Okay, well, no matter what, we just cleared it up right now, so we're okay. So it is episode 79. I mean, yeah, you gained a couple games. The hot streak's got to end eventually.
2.5 games. 2.5 games. This is a big deal.
It is.
Don't act like you're not nervous. Don't act like you're not nervous.
Especially, I told you that I didn't think it was going to be this quick. I thought they were going to gain at least a couple games over these past couple weeks. Now they're riding the tightrope now. So it's a little rough because they do have a really rough schedule coming up. But the Mets are leaking oil. Hopefully they can't go 6-0 against the Mets. So I'm hoping that the Mets
they absolutely can.
No, they cannot. Marcus Stroman going. That's my guy. So
Marcus
aside from Marcus Stroman Day,
Taijuan Walker is their best pitcher besides Jacob deGrom. Carrasco is going to get lit up tonight.
Yeah.
Rich Hill is going to get lit up, and Stroman's going to get lit up.
Maybe not. No, I don't think Stroman's going to get lit up. But I was really hoping. I was like, Taijuan Walker versus a bullpen game. Yes, let's go. I thought for sure it was Dodgers were gonna lose that game. Because I love to go on starting pitching matchups and who has the upper hand. So obviously thinking they were going to gain a half a game yesterday. Turns out, nah. So
how about no? Also, it'll be a perfect 7-0 because we'll play the Mets 7 times this season, not 6.
What? Yeah, 6, 7, same thing. As we're talking about the Mets, let's talk about some Mets in a special Mets edition of Players Say What. Also, I guess owners say what as well. We're gonna go into the player version first, though. Got to talk about Noah Syndergaard calling MLB dumb fucks for pushing the Mets and Dodgers game back to Sunday Night Baseball when they have a getaway day going to San Francisco to play the first place Giants the next day. I get where he is coming from. I think it is really stupid. I mean, that's why teams play early on getaway days. You need to get the fuck out of there. I mean, but you're going literally cross country. You're not going from, LA to Arizona, LA to Texas, all the way across the country to play a juggernaut of a Giants team. I mean, I don't know. I get where he's coming from. That's all I'm trying to say.
First of all, let's relax. Okay.
Juggernaut.
Let's cut it with the juggernaut shit. All right. It's
over. The juggernaut, bitch. That's
over.
The juggernaut. Yeah.
I mean, I see where he's coming from as well, especially because the Dodgers had to do the same exact thing. Let's not forget that the Dodgers were also involved in this. But no Syndergaard's a bitch, so I don't really care what he says.
No explanation from that. Just no Syndergaard's bitch. Yeah.
He talks a lot of shit. And some of his takes I don't like.
That, though. I like the shit.
I do agree with him. I do agree with the sentiment that it doesn't make any sense cross country, especially both teams have to go cross country.
Right. It's not like they have
just fucking over one team, you're fucking over both. But maybe that went into their decision making, like, well, both teams are gonna have to, have the same consequences. So let's just fucking both. And who cares?
Yeah, I get it. And I get you can't make excuses and all that, yada yada yada. I understand it. But at the same time, MLB, do better. Okay. There's plenty of other games you could have had. And they should have done that. By the way, it's a little Giants beating Max Scherzer's ass in the World Series in 2012. other than that, next topic of players say what.
I like how Giants fans, are saying Dodgers fans live in the past for something that hasn't even been a year old yet of winning the World Series. And you're going back 9 years?
Yeah.
Get over it, bro. It's over.
First of all, I am not over it. I will still yell in your face about 3 and 5 years. I'm not telling you to stop living in the past. I think it's you, especially because you're reigning World Series champions. Live it up. I get it.
Right
you finally get it. That's fine. My argument for the past 7 years beforehand was, or 6 years beforehand was, best regular season team in baseball. Good for you. Until you win something, shut the fuck up. Since you won something, and I can even say winning the pennant is winning something. So once you win the pennant, you can talk. If you win the World Series, you can talk very loudly, and yeah, live it up. Because
man, you're gonna be so sad when the Giants lose the wild card game. So sad.
Well, they're not going to be in the wild card game, so I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you keep on going. You're keeping me off rails. We need to talk about Steve Cohen and his ridiculous tweet. I find this thing ridiculous on a number of levels. But I think just some of like the wording is really weird for me. To those who don't know, Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, tweeted out, "It's hard to understand how professional hitters can be this unproductive. The best baseball teams have." Sorry, I tripped.
Do you want me to read it?
I'm really terrible at reading. No, I got it. The best teams have a more disciplined approach. The slugging and the OPS numbers don't lie. To talk about slugging and OPS numbers in the same breath makes absolutely no sense. Because they're one and not exactly the same, but they're half of the same, if that makes sense. So, couple things. If you're frustrated with, your team, you're being like, oh, it's so annoying or whatever, that's one thing. But to say something like I don't understand how professional, it's very easy to understand. They're playing against professional pitchers who throw 95 miles an hour and 80 mile an hour, breaking stuff. So that's how. It's very easy to understand how.
I don't know. I get that it's hard to understand because Steve Cohen's not a Major League Baseball player. So you know what he should do? He should shut the fuck up. Like the other thing is too, he went into the clubhouse and he didn't give a speech apparently, but he kind of talked to some players individually. Right. Owners don't do that.
Right.
Owners should stay the fuck out of the clubhouse. All your job is to make sure the front office is running smooth and transactions are happening and blah blah blah.
Right.
You shouldn't really have that much interaction with the players, especially after you put them on blast. I mean, right. It makes no sense. That is not a way to get your guys fired up. Like that's just going to turn some resentment towards ownership. And new ownership at that. I mean, it's not like he's owned the team for 25 years.
Right.
He's brand new. So I don't know. I think he's digging himself a hole. And let's also remember, dude, the Mets are missing two of their best players. They're missing Javi Baez and Francisco Lindor.
And the best pitcher
to ever walk this earth. The best pitcher in baseball.
I know it's not what the complaint is, but what I'm more alluding to too is, I mean, it's not like they're playing the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Rockies, and I don't know, the Pirates. Okay, they're playing the Dodgers, the expected best team in baseball, the Giants, the best team in baseball, back to the Dodgers, expected best team in baseball, and then back to the Giants again, who are the best team in baseball. So it's both have really good pitching. I mean, I don't understand. It's just insane to me. The level of disrespect publicly. If a player said that about their teammate, they would be grilled and thrown all over the place. And, for an owner to talk like that, I think is just ass, and I hate it.
Yeah. Well, And apparently he went into the clubhouse, I think when they were playing the Phillies like 2 weeks ago. So it was right when, the Phillies were getting hot and the Mets started declining. So that was like 2 weeks ago. And then he came out with that tweet 2 days ago.
Right.
So I mean, he's just been shitting on him for 2 weeks.
Right.
And the other thing too, I mean, the Phillies, that was right around when their hot streak started, but the Phillies aren't good. So yeah, you're playing the Giants and the Dodgers, but the Phillies aren't good, and you're losing to them and getting your ass kicked. So
I think they're good. I think we need to come to how they're not good. They're a good team.
They're not what everyone said 2 weeks ago. Like, oh, they're getting hot. The Braves are going to win the division.
Yeah,
just like I
predicted
crazy at the beginning of the season.
I think I did as well, and that they were going to knock the Dodgers out of the postseason, but it's just not going to happen because they're not going to get to the Braves. So,
okay.
So let's enough of around the league. I'm sick of talking about Steve Cohen's bitch ass. We're going to talk about some rivalry stuff, some great stuff. I think there's a lot less to talk about on the Giants side. Let's get this. I don't want to say get this out of the way, but let's talk about it.
Let's just get it out of the way so we can see what people are really here for.
We gotta go. Giants 4-2 week. Beat up on the Rockies. 3 out of 4. That's just the way of doing it. I mean, they were on the road. Everyone knows the Rockies are a different team at home. So, but obviously it's great to get confidence against a team you're going to see a couple times more later, even if it is on the road. Mets should have had the sweep there. You can't exactly get upset for how things went down.
Thank you, Kevin Pillar.
Yeah,
Kevin Pillar.
And another thing with Jake McGee, he's just been so on top of it and so overworked. He's eventually going to give up a run. I'm not going to beat up a bullpen that's been performing extremely well. Starting pitching's leaking oil, and they've been really covering for him. So, I'm not going to get mad at Jake McGee for giving up one run. I would get more upset about not cashing in when they didn't give up a run in extra innings and to just bunt over and get that run in and end the game. That's what I'd be more upset about. But at the end of the day, they won the series. You can't win every game. I don't know. I think it was a very solid week. And I feel like if they just keep on going that trajectory, they'll be fine. They, obviously winning 3 out of 4 and then, winning a series, you can't be upset about it. I mean, obviously you lose 2.5 games. You would think there'd be some sort of collapse, but there wasn't. So you can't be upset over a 4-2 week. I'm sorry, you can't. Going into this upcoming schedule, it's a little worrisome because the Dodgers are already starting to gain, but Dodgers can't win forever. They're going to lose some games. We'll be okay. To now talk about what I'm really excited to talk about. I'm going to knock something out of the way really quick. Stud and dud of the week. Dud really quick. Yaz, don't know what's going on with him. He's hot. He's not. He's hot. He's not. If they get Yaz back going, they're going to be, they've been performing well without him being hot. So I don't know what's going on with him, what the deal is, but his at-bats just aren't looking competitive. He's striking out a lot. He's struck out 7 times in his past 20 plate appearances. Not very good. So even if he's not getting knocks, if he starts getting his walks, I think we'll be okay. But I gotta talk about my stud of the week. Recent extendee DJ B. Craw hitting 368. Had that big game against the Mets. It's before the season started, we talked about how, we hoped that, they would get Trevor Story or, Tyler's been, wanting to just be able to boo Carlos Correa every, 19 times a year. So he's been talking about how there's no need for it. If anything, we've talked a couple times about maybe trying to extend, getting Chris Bryant versus those guys now, because DJ B. Craw is going to be a San Francisco Giant for at least 2 more years after this. I think it's a little disrespectful of MLB for not including him in some MLB talks, but I think some Giant fans need to calm down about him actually winning MVP. I think he should be in the conversation. Talked about maybe in the third finalist, if not, definitely in top 5, what people have been posting and him not being included. The things that he provides outside of offense, I mean, Gold Glove defense is just a stability of him being in the lineup every day. I mean, I don't understand why he's not up there. But yeah, very excited that he's back and he's performing the way he is. 32 mil, deserves every bit of it. Love the dude.
That's really cute.
I'm way better shortstop than Corey Seager.
I doubt it. Well,
yes.
Yeah, he's not a better shortstop than Trey Turner. He's not a better shortstop than Trey Turner.
How come Trey Turner cannot field second base?
I don't know.
What? Come on, bro. Get the fuck over it.
Okay, first of all, relax. Trey Turner is he's a national treasure. See what I did there? He's a nationals treasure. See what I did there?
You're hilarious.
All right. First of all, I'm not gonna let you keep talking. I'm gonna start the Dodger talk on how I wanted to start it. Dodgers 7-0, perfect week. You couldn't ask for a better week. They get it done in New York.
Mm-hmm.
They manhandled the Pirates, and then they took the first game of the Mets series. 7-0, love it. Quickly, I'm gonna knock out my stud and dud of the week.
Hey,
stud, I'm giving it to Mitch White. Mitch White comes in Wednesday night. Justin Brule, we know it's going to be a bullpen game. Justin Brule goes 1 2/3, and Mitch White's going to be the bulk guy. Mitch White comes in and pitches 7 1/3 and completely saves the bullpen for the next day, which was a complete bullpen game. I believe we had 7 guys throw, and it was a masterpiece. They all pitched very well. Corey Knebel was the opener, which, it's like, okay, if he's opening, we know every guy's going to go 1, maybe 2 at the max, and it's going to be an all hands on deck kind of game. I mean, but again, Mitch White, that's huge because now, as the rotation starts over, Walker's going tonight, hopefully at least get 6, 7 from him, kind of save the pen. That was huge. And the other thing too is he showed potential on maybe making a spot start, in 5 days instead of being a complete bullpen game and starting someone out first. He can just go in, hopefully go 7, flip it around to Trinan or Knebel or Jansen or whoever. Speaking of which, Blake Trinan comes out last night to get the save in the 9th and strikes out the side and looks utterly unhittable. His slider and his cutter are ridiculous. Looks unhittable, so that was great. So yeah, Mitch White, stud. Dud, who else would it be? I'll give you a guess. You might not even follow
the dud?
Yeah, you might not even follow the Dodgers this past week, but just take a guess.
I will go with AJ Pollock. I'm just shooting in the dark here. I don't know.
You're a fucking moron. Cody Bellinger, of course. Who else would it be?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Cody Bellinger.
I thought he was getting hot though. That's what I heard.
He was.
He was getting hot.
Except the last 7 games, he was not. He did last night against the Mets in the series opener. He did hit a ball in the gap that looked like it was going to be a double, maybe a triple with his speed. Brandon Nimmo makes a great diving catch, saves a run there. But yeah, Bellinger, I think he's hitting 150 the last week. So I don't know. Keep batting him 8th. It's nice to have him in there with his glove. We can stand to have him in there for a little bit longer. Just keep batting him 8th. I mean, really, I think I'm most impressed right now with the Dodgers bullpen. You have guys like Phil Bickford, who was a castaway from
Giants legend.
Yeah, from the Milwaukee Brewers this past season, or this season, and comes to the Dodgers and turns into a complete stud. Alex Vesia looked like dog shit in the beginning of the year, and everyone was pretty unhappy with that trade with Dylan Floro to Miami for Vesia. But since Vesia's come back up, it looks like an all-star. Looks like a complete stud. Blake Trinan looks unhittable. Corey Knable's back. I mean, things are really chugging along. They're looking good. I don't know. The one thing, and we've really tried to stay away from talking about it, but now it's really kind of coming to the surface, is the Trevor Bauer situation.
Dive in. Okay.
They extended his leave until the 27th. It was set to expire today, the 20th. Now it's extended to the 27th, which is great because I was so worried that they were going to be like, yeah, he's coming back. He's going to be in the clubhouse. I'm like, what the fuck happened?
Right.
Here's the thing. All this court thing was just to see if the restraining order was made more permanent, which would have, been a 5-year restraining order as opposed to just the temporary restraining order, right? So the judge didn't see fit to grant the restraining order, which I'm not a lawyer. I don't claim to be, but to me, it seems like that means a criminal case probably won't take place.
Right.
Pasadena police is still investigating everything, so there still may be criminal charges. That's why I don't, until Pasadena police comes out and says there's no grounds to charge Bauer with a crime, he will not throw a pitch for the Dodgers until that investigation is over.
Dodgers at all, no matter what.
Yeah. Well,
unless for some reason she comes out and is like, I beat myself up and I lied about the entire thing, there's no way he's gonna play at all.
I don't know, because let think about it this way. If the police come out and say there is no grounds to charge him with a crime, what leg do the Dodgers have to stand on, legally speaking, and MLB for that matter, to keep him off the field? They don't.
Well, I think that it will still violate the domestic violence policy, because I mean, obviously, if you saw her face, there's no denying that there was.
Listen, I just want to make this very clear that I side with the young woman on this. I don't care what she consented to. That's all well and good. But as soon as you're unconscious, you can no longer consent. Therefore, anything that happened after the fact, in my opinion, makes Bauer a piece of shit. But what I'm saying is, legally speaking, the domestic violence policy, if there's no crime and they go under the guise of she consented to all of this, how could they say? Then that looks like a lawsuit against Major League Baseball, on Trevor Bauer's behalf. That's why this whole situation is totally fucked. And I understand where the judge came from as far as not extending the restraining order, but I really hope that Pasadena police doesn't take that into consideration when investigating what took place. Because if a crime has happened, regardless of what the judge said about the restraining order, Bauer should be charged to the fullest extent of the law.
Right. I think when it comes to punishing him by the law, I think, unfortunately, I think this just goes to our society and the way these crimes are treated, unfortunately, and the way they can't be, proven. I think that he's not going to get charged criminally, unfortunately. And I think that, but when it comes to playing in baseball, the Dodgers don't owe him shit as far as about proving why they don't want him on his team. They can easily say, hey, we're just going to DFA you, which I think they might do. They're going to be on the line for this full contract. So, but I don't see how any team picks him up.
I think someone will.
I don't think so. I mean, I could be wrong. I mean, someone picked up Osuna, but no one's picked him up since, after the contract was up with the Astros. So, and this is it's a lot different because it comes to also a sex crimes things versus just domestic violence. So I don't think a team picks him up. I think it is my opinion he's never going to pitch another pitch in Major League Baseball. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I think it could go either way, unfortunately, but I don't see him coming in Major League Baseball at all.
Yeah, I
think he's done, and if you have major opinions on why this is unfair to Bauer, I at this point I don't even want to hear. I don't have the energy to discuss that. That's just where I'm standing on it.
I mean, here's the thing is, I don't know, people who consent to rough sex, or let's say everything Bauer did was consensual and whatever. That doesn't mean he's a good person just because he didn't commit some like heinous crime. I still think that makes you a shitty person, and you're not someone I would, want my kids looking up to as a major league baseball
Right.
player. Like, I think when you're a celebrity, such a star of such status, you kind of have to live by different rules because you're a role model to a certain extent. So regardless, I wouldn't want this guy playing for my team because I don't want kids looking up and being like, oh, well, look at that guy. He's out of his fucking mind, but he still made it. He's still a Major League Baseball player.
Yeah.
So, again, I think he's still a piece of shit, regardless of if he's found innocent or guilty. But it will be interesting to see what the Dodgers do. But
yeah, like I said, the only thing that I could say if I was making the decision is you take one look at the pictures and you're like, you did that, okay, I don't want any part of you. So, I mean, you can argue about the sexual part if it's consensual, whatever. I have personal views on that, but I don't know. Obviously, I have personal views on that, but when it comes to making a decision, seeing him put his hands on a woman like that, it's just I think there's just no way he's pitching baseball again.
Yeah. And again, we'll see. I think more than likely what'll happen, regardless of criminal charges, this will probably go the civil route,
right?
A civil court, and get settled out of court, and NDAs will be signed and all that. But that's just my opinion.
Right.
I don't know. People just need to be better. Don't
be a piece of shit. Tagline.
Conveniently, the day the judge, didn't extend the restraining order, the Dodgers announced the City Connect jerseys, which I'm sure was not a coincidence to, try to skirt some of the attention elsewhere.
Yeah. Look at these horrible looking jerseys.
Yeah, let's talk about these hideous jerseys. You're no stranger to having an ugly as shit City Connect jersey, so Giants are
6-0 in City Connect jerseys, and they're actually growing on me. Fuck you.
I think the Dodgers look better. It's the pants. The pants are what really throw me off. I remember when I was a kid, like playing baseball, like kids that wore black pants, like black baseball pants.
Right.
Like you were a fucking nerd. Like no one did that. You either had white or gray. That was it.
Right.
Those were the
right.
So blue pants to me just reminds me of, dude, they look like cricket uniforms or highlight uniforms. If you just had one of those goofy helmets and fucking banana slings, it could be a highlight uniform. And
what's kind of
the hat looks horrible.
Yeah.
Like just keep the normal fucking hat.
Right.
At that point. Like,
right.
Jesus Christ.
As far as the thing is, the Dodger jersey, it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look like, it's kind of like, they looked at the blue Dodger jersey and was like, hey, can I copy your homework? Yeah, just change it a little bit so they don't know it's mine. Like that, it literally looks almost the same as the other jersey, just a little bit of black on the sleeves, and obviously the Los Dodgers. And it's like, so when you see it on just like a normal person, you're like, oh, it's just a cool little Dodger jersey. But when you see it on the field with the blue pants, it looks really weird. And I think that's the difference when it comes to Giants and Dodgers ones. Giants, I believe, on the field looks so much better. I think that's why they're growing on me. But when you see it off, yeah, maybe I don't know if it's white pants or maybe just because they haven't lost in them, and maybe that's there's just magic inside that fog. I don't know, but if they go undefeated City Connect, then I am buying a Chris Bryant one. If they do that through the season.
Okay, I don't know if your City Connect jerseys are the same. Do you know how much the Dodgers City Connect jersey costs?
It's ungodly. I imagine they're like
$435 fucking dollars for a monstrosity of a jersey.
Yeah, unless you're. If I was a diehard White Sox fan or a diehard Marlins fan, I'd be like, "Fuck!" I would really consider it.
Those White Sox jerseys
are fire,
so fucking cool.
And but the Marlins other than really that, cool too.
I'm not a fan of the Marlins ones.
I fuck with them. Yeah.
No, the White Sox ones for sure. Like I could totally see that. Right. But paying more money for an uglier jersey,
right?
And those, dude, I still just can't get over those fucking hats because those hats look like, knockoff shit hats that you would buy in like Santee Alley in downtown.
Right. Like, you get them at gas stations and shit.
The ones that say like California and it has like the state and the bear, like that everyone fucking wears. It seems like it would be that. And I bet you those hats are probably going to be $50. And they just look stupid with the big block letters. Dude, everything about those jerseys, I'm not a fan of. I'm just not.
I they could be worse, but I just feel like there was just so like I don't know. Like I feel like if I was a designer and graphic designer and I pushed that forward, I would be scared to because I'd be like, I didn't change shit. I didn't do anything. What does this have to do with LA? You put some black shit on the sleeves of a Dodger jersey and just put Los Dodgers. I don't know if that's just a thing of being like, oh, Mexicans, we live in Southern California. Then you should have gone Los Dodgers then, like go all in.
Exactly. Like, it just, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have rather them brought back like Brooklyn Dodger, like gray unis with the blue B and like the pinstripes, like the 1920s throwback. That would have been something cool. Yeah, like just anything but what we got, and especially because it took them, they're one of the last teams that are doing it to announce it. So there's like all this hype, and then it's just like,
yeah, that's how I felt with the Giants ones too, right?
A dud. But again, probably not a coincidence that they announced it yesterday, given what happened with.
Well, I think they set that up. I think the Nike sets up the dates, and they did it like months and months, even before the Bauer shit came out. I think like at the beginning of the year, it was like, these are the dates for. So maybe they did the, hey, can we get a court date on this date? I mean, maybe I don't know. I don't know.
No,
if that's possible, but
I'm sure. Like, let's say the date was sometime this week or whatever. They're probably like, hey, can we please announce it like right when this is about to break? Because like we don't want that negative publicity, and all that shit. Also, one more thing about the Bauer situation. I saw Stan Kasten had said the Dodgers were not aware, because I think it came out last week, maybe earlier this week. So I don't think we've touched on it. That Bauer had someone sought a restraining order against him in 2020 in Cincinnati, in Ohio. I don't know if you read that article, and Bauer was posting about it on Twitter. He's such a fucking idiot.
Yeah. I don't get what that's trying to like. This is one thing I would just really quick. I'll knock this out of the way. When you come at with like, trying to disregard allegations with things that happen with other people, or different situations that have nothing to do with, like, it just makes you look stupid. Like, don't come at me with this girl slept with Tatis, or the stuff that he was posting. Like, it has nothing to do with this situation. Like, it's nothing to do. If anything, it especially the Tatis thing, I feel like that goes more to her side. Like, if she wants to sleep with whoever she wants, that's fine. And obviously she wasn't trying to get Tatis's money, so that kind of goes against your argument. So I don't know.
Yeah. So Stan Kasten had said this week that the Dodgers were unaware of the young woman who requested a restraining order in 2020.
Right.
That's pretty hard to, I mean, I guess I can understand because maybe it's not on record because the restraining order was never granted. But when you're dealing with such a high level organization and you're going after someone who's more or less a controversial figure within your sport, there's no fucking way you can leave any stone unturned. Like they're
right. Be better.
If they really didn't know about it, they need to figure that shit out.
Right. Be better.
And if they did, they should come out and say, look, we thought all this was behind him. We clearly made a mistake. But I also think they can't speak on certain things because the criminal thing is ongoing. I mean, it's just a big mess. That's why we haven't really talked about it.
Yeah.
I mean, we've given our opinions, but I don't want to try to pretend I know all the inner workings of the legal system and who should do what. I didn't go to law school, therefore I'm going to keep my mouth shut about it.
Right.
So yeah, but also just a big fuck you to Rachel Luba, who, if you recall, I never really liked.
No,
like I didn't. But dude, just her like women belong in sports and women and women and women, and then don't believe women because it's going to affect my bottom line and my top dollar and my friend, my client. Like fuck you. She doesn't belong in sports. Like I don't know. I don't want to.
Yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot to unpack. I mean, I think the things that are coming out were not 100% consistent with what we were thinking, but pretty close. So, I mean, we can't exactly accuse certain things. Obviously, we don't know, but that's where we are in it. I mean, who knows what might come out in a week to where we completely flip things, but as of right now, that's where it's leaning. So, but yeah, back to what this podcast about the baseball. Let's talk
to a little bit lighter mood.
Yes, let's talk about what's going on. Next week, the Giants are playing Oakland starting today before this
schedule.
Part of yes, and then they're going to be playing the Mets in New York. I don't know who the dumb fuck is. That scheduled them from California to New York, but that shit has to change. But
oh my god,
yes,
you're such a fucking baby.
Yes. So I'm hoping for a shit. At this point, the way they manhandled the Mets, they're gonna need to go 3 out of 4 against the Mets because I believe it's a 4-game series, and they're gonna need to win the series against Oakland because the thing is the Dodgers aren't slowing down. I mean, obviously they're not gonna go undefeated the rest of the year, obviously, but it's yeah, right. It's not. I mean, I don't think they're going to slow down. So I know the Giants are going to have to lose at least a series on this on this hard stretch. But right now I just feel like they can't. They do have another off day on Monday. It's actually a 3-game series against the Mets, so it makes me feel a little better. I'm just going to go another 4-2 week. And yeah, 4-2 week. Let's go. Giants are going to be in first the rest of the year.
I doubt it. Coming up for the Dodgers, we're continuing the series with the Mets Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Dodgers have, their actual 3-man rotation now, I guess we could call it, of Buehler, Scherzer, and Price going. So that's nice. Hopefully, I saw Wednesday prior to the game, Julio was thrown off the mound. Not to live batters, but guys were standing in the box trying to give him kind of a sim game feel without hitting. He looked good. It looks like he was throwing full velocity, so hopefully that calf bruise heals up real nice.
When's he supposed to come back? Is it said Kershaw and him? When is he supposed to come back?
Kershaw is eligible to come off the 4th of the 5th because he got transferred to the 60-day. Julio might only be a 10-day, the minimum, which would be Wednesday.
So yeah, Dodgers are going to slow down. Tuesday? They can't win bullpen games all day. So I think we'll be all right.
I don't know the date exactly, but I think he could come off Tuesday. Dodgers start a 3-game series with the Padres on Tuesday. Hopefully Julio can pitch in at least one of those games because that would certainly help the bullpen out a lot.
Slam
Maybe
Diego
Tony Gonsolin comes
Love.
back. God, talk about Slam Diego slide. Dude, the Slam Diego losers are now 1 game up of the Cincinnati Reds in the NL wild card.
Well, they play the Dodgers very well. I actually am excited for that because they've also tagged Scherzer. So
okay, here's the thing. Are you listening? I want everyone to listen to me very carefully. Everyone listen very carefully. Mm-hmm. The Padres are falling apart. The Padres, I don't think, are going to even make the wild card game. Dude, their pitching is done. Blake Snell sucks. Yu Darvish sucks.
That's a miss.
You like that? Blake Snell?
That was a miss. That's a little bit of a miss.
Bad. Ryan Weathers, dude, he's fallen off. Yeah. I mean, and they're probably going to, ruin Tatis's career. He's going to have one throw from right to third in his shoulder. Yeah. Actually, I don't even know if it's his throwing shoulder. But I don't think Tatis...
He's going to hit 2 home runs, but they lose the game. So
yeah, I don't think Tatis being in the lineup is what they need right now. They need pitching. It's like how last postseason they're like, oh, we didn't have Mike Clevenger. Well, you didn't score any runs. Clev's not going to come up and hit 2 home runs and 5 RBIs.
Could.
It's the same thing now. Tatis might hit 2 home runs, but if the Dodgers tag you for 10, that didn't really mean anything. So I feel good. I think the Dodgers are going to go 3-1 against the Mets, and 2-3 against the Padres would be great. So I'm going to say a little 5-2. Gain another game on the Giants. That September series is coming quick, and it's is it September?
Yes. Yeah, beginning of September. So I think that it's going to be very important for the Giants now to win that series. And I think it's really, and that's what kind of sucks, because then you're like there's some Giant fans that are like all upset because they lost the last game in the Mets series. And it's like, you won the series. You can't expect a sweep. I understand that you lost ground against the Dodgers, and that's never good, but like, put the fucking brakes on it. Just disappointed from a series win to a sweep. Like, you just sound dumb. Get off the ledge. One thing I do want to say about the Dodgers season really quick. I put out a tweet earlier, and I just think it's hilarious, right? Beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah. This is the dumbest tweet I've ever seen. So go ahead.
Beginning of the year, the expectations, Dodgers greatest team ever assembled versus, the Giants, who maybe were going to go 500. They get Trey Turner and Max Scherzer at the trade deadline. And a month later, Dodger Twitter is on fire. So excited that they're 2.5 games behind the best team in baseball, the San Francisco Giants. Like, calm your tits. All right. Okay. You're still behind.
First of all,
2 games behind. Thank you.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to need you to shut the fuck up. One, hasn't been a whole month since the trade deadline. Pretty close. Let's get that. Trey Turner didn't get to play for like 8 days after the trade. Okay. Are you listening?
Smallest violin.
Are you listening? Also, I don't care what the preseason expectations were. The preseason expectation was we were going to have 7 fucking starters. And guess what? Now we have 2.5.
Okay, that's no excuse.
David Price is half a starter. We did have depth. We had the most depth. But guess what? It got super depleted, and we have
more depth. That's called a baseball
criminal
season.
Monster on
no
our
excuses.
Team. Okay. Second of all, you're a fucking idiot. Third of all, it doesn't matter. The preseason expectation, this is how things are playing out. The Dodgers were 5 games back.
Have fallen.
Now they're closing the gap. We should be excited. You absolutely should be excited. And as the Giants, you should be fucking nervous. Very nervous.
First of all, I told you I was nervous last week when they were 5 games up because of the rough stretch, and that the gap was going to get a little bit smaller.
It got even smaller, even quicker than you anticipated.
Oh, so definitely. Definitely did. But at the same time, you're still 2.5 back. So, I mean, I'm just saying.
Enjoy it while it lasts, Papa.
You're playing two bullpen games. Bullpen games rotation. I think we'll be okay. As we've
talked about, it's about when you get hot. Dodgers are getting hot going into the last month of the season. That's a pretty damn good place to get hot.
I get you. And
Giants might have peaked. They might have blew their load a little too quick there, you premature ejaculator. So let's relax.
Before we close out, just one thing I just wanted to say about getting hot, and I'm like the Giants got to take the Dodger series and yada yada yada. But then it's like, how many series can you win against the Dodgers? Obviously, the Dodgers and Giants are going to play in the playoffs. That's what's going to happen.
I don't know about that.
So you think the Giants
are going to lose the wild card game? Yes, 100%.
Fuck out of here. Okay, then I don't know why I'm even talking to you, because you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. You sound insane right now.
Why are you watching the Joe Rogan podcast, you fucking weirdo? You conspiracy theorist
I'm watching,
moron. You pseudo-intellectual jackass.
On YouTube. There you go. It's back to Max Scherzer getting his ass kicked by the San Francisco Giants 2012. Mm-hmm. What's gonna happen again in 2021? Same numbers, just flipped. Ooh, Omen. Let's go. I'm just worried. Like, I would rather them go to the wild card game and be down and go on a little, because I feel like then they can. I don't know. I feel like they just win the whole season. They might, you know what I mean? It's just like a hot cold thing. I don't know.
No, it makes you a little worried. That's the stupidest thing anyone's ever said. Anything can happen in a one game playoff.
Exactly.
Also, right. Fangraphs does have the Dodgers at like a 60% chance of winning the division. Analytics, math. I love it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, sure. Whatever.
Anywho, real quick, just wanted to point out one thing, completely nothing to do with Giants Dodgers. Mike Clevenger cheated on his wife. So Mike Clevenger is a piece of shit too.
Okay.
Wanted to throw that out there. Just want everyone to know. Let's not forget, Mike Clevenger is also a piece of shit. Just saying.
Sounds good.
As always, this episode was brought to you by Renovation Candle Company. Fall candles are out now. All of them. Choose over 10 fall exclusive candles. You got your pumpkin spice, your vanilla pumpkin marshmallow.
We're talking
pumpkin
missionary.
Cream cold brew, which you will not find anywhere else. London fog latte, you won't find anywhere else. Renovation Candle Company is bringing the heat for those cool autumn months. Go check it out.
Yes, thank you so much for listening. We will be back next week. We were late a couple days. I don't think we'll be late next week. So make sure to follow us on your favorite podcasting platform. Hit subscribe, all that good stuff. Follow us on TikTok, Benches Cleared, Instagram, Benches Cleared Podcast, and Twitter, Benches Cleared P. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next week,
where the Dodgers will be in first place.